Hello my friends, thank you for joining me as always, and in a couple of days, WWE is coming to the United Kingdom for their first major pay-per-view in around about 726 years. This does mean my good self and the What Culture crew will be going down there, we'll be doing a live show, we've got live ups and downs, so if you are going, make sure you find us afterwards and come party down, but before then, we must put on our prediction goggles and try to figure out just what in the flub is going to happen at the Clash at the Castle. It is a bit of a silly name. We shall start with the tag team match that was announced on Raw because it is going to be Finn Balor and Damian Priest, Judgment Day, taking on Edge and Rey Mysterio. Now, of course, Rhea Ripley is going to be in one corner and Dominic Mysterio is going to be in the other corner. And I tell you this, if this is not the day, the night, the evening, the afternoon where Dommy Boy finally does turn heel and betrays his daddy, then what the hell is going on? Because you saw what happened a few days ago. Rhea was like, oh man, no, don't hit me with the kendo stick. And Dominic was like, I would never hit you because I'm massively in love with you. So what he should do is he should screw over the rated R superstar and the person that gave birth to him, kinda, I mean he had half a bit in it, and then he should get on a microphone on next week's episode of Raw and say, Dad, you never gave me the Rey Mysterio name like your uncle did to you, you didn't even give me a mask. This is when Judgment Day go, here is your mask, and it's a really cool, evil, dark mask. Dominic puts it on and he's like, man, I am now the evil, dark, bad guy Rey Mysterio. And I'm sorry, that sounds like a comic book villain, so it's something that I need in my life. You also add an extra member to Judgment Day, and they are clicking right now, so you may as well continue it on, and all of the praise can be given to Rhea Ripley, because she's kind of like the captain of the ship at the moment. And I quite like that. It's a little bit different. Otherwise though, the match will be absolutely brilliant. I mean, listen to the four people that are in it, and Finn Balor especially seems like he's having a right old time being a heel on the main roster. But yeah, they are gonna win. Edge and Rey Mysterio are going to lose. That's gonna be doubly bad for Ray, because then in the world of the story, he's gonna have to go back to his locker room, his boy's not gonna be with him, and he'll cry, I can't believe it. It serves you right, Ray. You should have been a better father. They lose. Judgment Day wins. And we do have another tag team match on this card. It is a 6-person tag team match because Bianca, Belair, Asuka, and Alexa are going to be taking on Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Now this one is kind of interesting because I presumed that Dakota and Io were going to go into this as the women's tag team champions, but as we saw a few days ago, that did not happen, and instead, Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez have that honor, and I tell you, I never saw it coming. And one of the reasons I did have this down is because there's going to be like 70,000 people in Cardiff. I was like, well, I know what we can do here. Sasha Banks and Naomi can make their big return. They'll get a super duper pop and they can go, hi, I know you're wearing those championships, but you never beat us, so there are belts. And you could start a new feud. And I do still think that's going to happen, but it begs the question, what is going to happen here? Because let's face it, Bayley and her buddies are a proper group, they're a proper trio. They're like, oh, we're gonna take over all of wrestling, whereas Alexa, Asuka, and Bianca, I mean, they're cool and I like them, but they are individuals. And that's why surely you do have to give it to the bad guys in this situation, especially because they just lost their tag team titles tournament finals match. I mean, you don't have to do that, but they can cheat to win. That's what I would do. Surely at the back of this too, we should be building to Bianca Belair taking on Bayley for the Raw Women's Championship. So let's just do that. Io Sky and Dakota Kai are casting distraction, and then there's interference. They all beat up Bianca. She takes the pinfall, and look, it's okay. That's why you book things like 6-person tag team matches. In order to do it, Bayley can go out on the show and say like, I told you, I beat the champion. And then, I don't know what the next event is, Survivor Series? No, that's not correct. That's November. There's some event in October that my brain has forgotten. Do the Bayley match there. I mean, they were building to this before Bales got injured. There we go, I've underlined it. And also just realized I predicted 2 matches I should say. And in both of them, at the moment, the bad guys are winning. It was going to be a very upsetting show for us. But it's alright because that will not be the way throughout the card, because Shayna Baszler versus Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship, as much as it pains me to say, I am giving to Liv. That's nothing against Morgan. I think she has come into her own recently and is a good babyface when we're not booking her in stupid finishes against Ronda Rousey. But it has just been wonderful to see Shayna Baszler back in the title picture, to the point this part of my tum-tum, this part right here, really wants to see her be champion again. Even more so, because then you could go to Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey. Which brings us to a little bit of a predicament, because now I've said that, that's probably what you should do. Ronda can come back after her suspension, and then she can feud with Shayna, although I suppose you could hold her off to next year. The thing is, if you don't allow Liv Morgan to get the victory here, she is gonna start looking a little bit ridiculous, because she won the Money in the Bank in shenanigans, and now she's defended her title a couple of times, and it's always been shenanigans. So as much as I don't want Shayna Baszler to be someone that she can beat up, I mean, she can be competitive, she should just hit the Oblivion and pin her for the 1, 2, 3, and then be like, there you go, I told you, I know what I'm doing. She doesn't do that. You also do want to ensure that some baby faces get their hands raised, because if you've ever seen a pay-per-view and that doesn't happen, my word, it will wear you out. So I am going with Liv Morgan. Now I'm not confident at all. What I am confident though is that Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle, his name is back, are going to have a match, and it's going to be pure fire. And one of the reasons I am so into this, apart from the awesome interview segment they did on Raw, is I don't know who is going to win, because Seth Rollins has been a trooper in 2022, and any time and every time he has needed to lose, he's been like, all right, I'll do the favors. Whereas Riddle feels like he's got a little bit of momentum at the moment, and that he could take a few steps up those ladders to become one of the top baby faces in the company. But if he gets defeated here too, well, obviously it's gonna hold him back a bit. There's every chance actually it doesn't make a difference at all, because they have such an amazing matchup. People just go, oh my gosh, did you see Rollins and Riddle? They tore the place up. But I do find myself sitting on the fence with this. But given the theme of this video so far, I'm giving it to Seth. And the reason for this is because you are going to need top tier contenders for whichever world championship eventually, and Rollins has done such good work the last few months, he is crying out for his opportunity. So if you want to, get people to forget that he did lose to Cody Rhodes 3 times, have him beat Matt Riddle here, and then put him into a program with Roman Reigns, or maybe Drew McIntyre, we're gonna talk about it. He's been on a roll though, he really has, and I kind of feel like if we don't pull the trigger now, well, we'd be missing out on something super duper fun. So yeah, I'm going for Rollins, curb stop 1, 2, 3. He probably cheats, that's what he does, but trust me, you ain't gonna want to miss this. Which is the same for the Intercontinental title match, and this may be the thing I'm looking forward to the most, because it's Gunther versus Sheamus. So my main prediction is they're gonna hit each other really flipping hard. And I think the Irishman is such a good choice for this, because he's gonna lose. He just is. I will bet every single hair on my head that he does get defeated, but he still has credibility and he still feels like a threat. So when Gunther does give him that power bomb and chops the absolute hell out of him and does get the win, he is not only gonna feel like more of an end of a level boss, but he's gonna feel like a better champion because he's defeated everyone. You also have the added bonus that even though it is in Wales, Sheamus is going to be treated like an absolute hero, as is Pete Dunne / Butch, as is Ridge Holland. So when you have all these dynamics, including the asshole Ludwig on the outside going, haha, I'm one of Bowser's son, this has all the elements to be an absolute banger. But yeah, do not bet against Gunther. He should hold that IC championship for a long ass time, then lose it in like wink wink nudge nudge circumstances before he goes after the Universal or WWE World Belt. And I am not kidding. This guy is so good that when that rumor came out recently, that when the Vince McMahon regime was still in charge, they thought about giving up his push. I glued my hand to the side of my head because that would be so damn stupid. He looks different, he wrestles different, he acts different, he is just the absolute best. And he is gonna win here. Which kind of oddly brings us to our last match and main event, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Undisputed Unified titles. And look, there's clearly going to be more matches on this card, but if I don't record this video today, it's never gonna get recorded. And what really makes me confused is that the SmackDown spoilers are out there because WWE taped it last week before they did fly to the UK. And from what I can see, they didn't announce anything new, so what am I missing? I mean, we could get something like Dexter Lumis versus The Miz, although that feels a little premature, and we could get another match between the New Day and the Viking Raiders. And once again, they actually had that blow-off on SmackDown, but I won't talk about it because I don't want to spoil it for you. But then I kind of do start scratching my head. I mean, beforehand, I was like, oh, maybe we'll do Ricochet and Baron Corbin again. But Ricochet is actually on the NXT show. So any matches we do miss, make sure you do get in the comments below and predict them, and I'll make sure I fly in there as well. But when it does come to Drew versus Roman, I have one emoji to show you to sum up my feelings towards this. That's because I honestly have absolutely no idea. The ideal scenario, and I don't see how you get there, is that Drew walks away as the WWE champion and Roman Reigns holds on to his Universal Championship. So I suppose Adam Pearce could walk out there and say, oh, the Usos interrupted, that's not fair, so now we're going to split the belts, although that would be a little bit silly. But you want to make sure you have a champion on both brands. It really feels like the Scottish Warrior should win, because it's also his homecoming, but my word, the promotional videos we've been doing. But you can just smell that Roman Reigns and WWE feel like he should hold on to that strap. I don't know what the flub to do. However, because I am a positive Pete, and because I believe professional wrestling is about moments, and because WWE is having their major pay-per-view in the UK for the first time in 30 years, I am going to say that Drew McIntyre Claymore kicks Roman Reigns right in the head because Sami Zayn screws up, he gets the 1, 2, 3, and he holds those belts aloft. I mean, if you really wanted to wind up the audience, you could still do that, and then Piercy Boy comes down and says, well, Sami Zayn made a mistake, so we're gonna give the belts back to the tribal chief. Or, here we go, let's get Reddit with this. You could do that, right? Sami Zayn gets involved and he accidentally costs the head of the table his championships. Drew celebrates. That's when Adam Pearce comes out and says, no, this match is going to continue. There's going to be 2 more falls, one for the WWE title and the other for the Universal Championship. That would be the most convoluted thing ever, but I'm putting my foot in the floor, which is not a saying. That's actually what I think should happen. Because then not only do you resolve this championship situation, but you can also build to Sami Zayn being beaten up by the Bloodline and his reuniting with Kevin Owens. And talking of Kevin Owens, surely he's gonna be on the show. So I'm just gonna say he's gonna take on Otis. There you go. He had a little thing going on with Alpha Academy. So it'll be Kevin Owens versus Otis. Kevin Owens will win. So my word, we ran that into the ground, and just to summarize, I am gonna go with Drew McIntyre, although I prefer my other plan. But fair play to WWE for actually loading this thing up with a bunch of matches I'm not 100% sure of, because even though we only have 6 confirmed, I will take 6, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen fights over 10, where you're like, well, winner, 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 loser, 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 easy, easy, easy. Again though, please do make sure you go in the comments and let us know what you think is gonna happen at Clash of the Castle, including any matches that may get announced. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read yourself some articles. Come follow us on social media. We're gonna have a lot of videos focusing on that event. We'd appreciate you watching them. My name is Simon What Culture. Thank you very much as always. And if you are going to Cardiff this weekend, make sure you do come and say hello so I can shake your hand and look into your eyes and say thank you. We all appreciate the support. See you then.